kind of forgot we were in the shower.
So refreshed.
Yeah. So, well, tell me a little bit about your charity then.
I am going with Planned Parenthood.
Right on.
Specifically, I'd like to channel the money to the escorts who walk the women from their cars into the abortion clinic, the health clinic, so they are
like that.
They are not harassed. I mean,
Yep.
they still are harassed often by other people.
We actually have one right up the street here on Farwell.
Exactly.
So I see it quite often every time I'm leaving work, basically.
And every time I drive by that one and I see these volunteers, these escorts, I'm always like, those are some wonderful people who are doing
not acknowledged.
Not acknowledged. And this is they're volunteering their time simply to that little walk can make or break an experience for someone already going through something very traumatic. So or not traumatic. Either way, no one has to be, talked to that way when they make this sort of a choice. So anyway, I just feel like I want to figure out a way to channel the money directly to them if possible.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Great. Okay. So, all right, we'll start making your recipe. I am going to get going on the stove, and I will slice the onion. If you want to, actually, you can slice the onion.
Okay, I'll slice the onion.
I'll turn the stove on.
Did we say what the recipe was?
Yeah, baked polenta with sausage and artichoke hearts.
Right.
And we make our own marinated artichoke hearts in the restaurant. So these are made by me. And the sausage, it is a little spicy, and the recipe did call for mild, but I think spicy is better.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Well, spice is great.
And then also the polenta from the recipe, this is what it called for. But when we serve it at your dinner, I'll make my own, and I'll package it like this. I mean, not like this, but in plastic wrap, and then we'll slice it the same way. But it'd be made in here. Not from the store.
Awesome.
So, all right. Actually, what you can, if you want to start slicing the onion,
sure.
And then I'll take the sausage and start browning that off.
Okay.
And then you can take this out of the container and just start slicing.
Okay. How thick should I slice?
I think like a 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So, and then, I know you have some great stories about you and your dad. Your dad is true blue Milwaukee man.
He was.
Yes. Oh, was.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Happens, but I have such a rich background because my dad was 100% Russian. My mom is 100% Italian, and so that is really, for people my age, it's very rare just to be two things.
Yes. Yeah.
And I had such a strong influence from both sides of this very, very strong cultural presence on both.
Yeah.
That actually choosing a recipe was difficult for me because I did have.
Because you have so many influence. I don't mean influence, but you have so many things to pick from.
Exactly. I really did. And so I did end up going with the Italian side. And that's, this is in honor of my grandparents who are from Torino, long past, but came here and growing up, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and I identified most with being Italian just because I spent so much time with those grandparents.
Right.
And people are always like, oh, well, you must have eaten a lot of spaghetti and a lot of lasagna. And I'm like, well, not really, because my grandparents are from the north, and the food is a little different. It's different there.
Yeah.
And so I grew up.
It's not about pasta there.
Right. Yeah. So we did eat that, but not we ate it like Americans ate it.
Yeah.
What we ate was polenta and bagna calva and these dishes that were more garlic based.
Yeah.
I was always dipping things into this garlicky paste type stuff, breads.
What we can do for the beginning of is do the I can't pronounce it right. Bagna calva.
I'm saying
calva.
I'm only saying it as I remember my grandparents.
Say it like that, yeah.
Bagna calva, and that's what they called it.
And what that is, for people that don't know, is beautiful vegetables that have been blanched, so they're easy eating, and then in this olive oil and garlic and a little chili and parsley or any herb you wanted.
Yeah.
And you dip your vegetables in it, and it's amazing.
It's amazing. I know.
It sounds so simple, but it's so good.
It is. And I think, eating like that as a kid is interesting because I have such an open palate now.
Exactly.
Because when you're eating
that as a child.
Cabbage with garlic dip, at 5, it's kind of, there was no option then like there is now, for my kids, it was always like, oh, if you don't like that, I'll make you chicken nuggets in the microwave or whatever.
Right.
That didn't happen then. So,
Right.
you know, it's just, you're eating your banya calda or you're going to bed hungry.
Right.
So, but it was delicious. So,
Well, that's great. That's a great way to grow up, you know?
yeah, I really am really excited to be doing this in honor of my grandparents, in honor of my heritage, and you know, the older that I get, the more I
Appreciate that.
appreciate
right?
it so much
Yeah.
and them so much, and the older I get, the more questions I have for them that I wish I could ask them, and
I know.
you know, it's one of those things about life that, you know, it's like,
You think back and you're like, why did I write that down?
Right.
You know? Like,
Right.
but you were just a kid playing and
Right.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
I know. So
I'm gonna steal your onions from you.
okay, oh, I'm good.
A little bit more.
Yep, a little bit more here. There we go.
And this is a super kind of really quick and easy but delicious recipe. Well, I haven't tasted it yet, but it sure looks and sounds delicious.
Well, what attracted me to it is just the really number one, the artichoke hearts, because the artichoke, your artichoke dish here is one of the city's best.
Thank you.
I love it so much.
I'm surprised how many people just really love it.
I know.
You know, because it's so simple. It's just artichoke cream.
Artichoke cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of our best sellers. Yeah.
So good. I love artichokes on pizza. I love artichokes. So I
Yeah.
saw that. So this is sort of a variation on what I grew up eating, but you know, I love artichokes. So this recipe jumped out at me, and of course, anything with sausage is totally up my alley
There's
too.
our Milwaukee.
There.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can even throw a bratwurst in there.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's something that really jumped out at me, and I also. Oh, should I open? I didn't.
Yeah,
open
you
this.
can open
Okay.
that and just start
There's
slicing
a little
it.
bit of water in here you mentioned.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is.
I'm adding just a little bit of chopped garlic to this mixture.
Okay.
So we got the onion and marinated artichoke hearts, garlic, sausage. Yummy. And for this, because it's going to bake for about 25 minutes, you don't have to be really adamant about the sausage being all the way cooked through, because you're going to bake it all
Anyway.
in the oven.
Yeah.
So,
Take a look at this.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that smells awesome.
I know, it looks good too.
Oh yeah.
So what we're going to do, Mal, is just kind of layer this.
Okay.
Like so.
Okay.
And then I'll bring this over.
Okay.
Just kind of, we'll go like this, and then how the recipe has it. Like
Oh, I
so.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll kind of just bring it up on top of it. Oops. And then we're going to add chicken stock to this.
Okay. That's good.
And then some parsley.
What would you serve as a side with this?
Well, I love the idea to start with the
Banya calda?
Banya calda. Yep.
Who knows if we're pronouncing
Yeah,
it right?
exactly.
Doesn't- yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We know what it is.
We do.
Yeah. And let's see, what would we serve? Let me think here. You know, a nice. Well, we got the vegetables from that, but I can see like a big crispy green salad.
Absolutely.
Can't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
yep. I think
maybe-
crispy is the key.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be really good.
Because
yeah.
once this is baked, you know, the polenta looks kind of hard here, or dense, I guess would be a better word.
right.
It'll soften up once we get the chicken stock with it.
Yeah. People always ask me when I make polenta dishes or I mention polenta, like they ask me what it is, and it's kind of hard to explain because it doesn't sound that good when you explain it. Like I'm like,
But
it's kind of like a cornmeal mush, you know?
It kind of is. I mean, for someone, you know, I mean, you could compare it to grits, I guess, you know, because
Yes.
it's kind of in the same family.
Yes, yes.
But there's so many things you can do with it. You know, you can have it like this, or you can have it like where it's soft and, you know, I mean, almost like porridge.
Yes.
You know, a little bit of chicken stock, which I have right on my line here, which is convenient, and a little bit of parsley. How has it been? I mean, with you working from home and, the whole, it's a big transition. And just, I mean, you are like social, that's your job.
Right.
That had to just be really hard,
It was really different, because the majority of my job is 50% is out in the community.
Right.
Reviewing concerts or going to restaurants or telling someone's story, and by doing that I'm sitting down with them face to face and talking to them for hours in a coffee shop, or all these ways that I research. And the other half of my job is all writing. So it's like, for me, it's good. I always say I'm an introvert and an extrovert.
Yeah.
So it's half and half. But the whole extrovert part was harder because now I was still interviewing people, but I was doing things over email a lot. I obviously wasn't going to concerts. I wasn't going to festivals. And so what happened with On Milwaukee, like a lot of places, it forced us to get really creative. And this is sort of a big COVID word, but to pivot and to really change what kind of content we were giving people, because people still wanted entertainment and wanted to know what was going on in Milwaukee. It's just that it was going to be about different things.
It was a different thing,
Right, So it was all about, well, where can I get takeout food from?
Right.
Where can I get, cocktail kits to go?
Right.
What is going on? When is this going to reopen?
Right. Yeah.
What's
what's the rumor? So and so, why aren't they open yet? Or are they closing? Or great, they are opening. And
Exactly. A lot about streaming things. Suddenly I was watching a lot of things on Netflix, and then talking, having group discussions through Facebook Lives and all this, because everybody's watching.
We were all watching the same stuff.
Right,
I mean, that was one of the major threads of conversation, I think, amongst all of us was, hey, what's everybody watching? Give me 10 of your top ones,
Exactly.
And then we would all talk about it I mean, it was fun.
It was fun.
And I learned a lot of things to watch because of listening to people's advice.
Exactly.
That I would never watch.
Right.
So it really expanded my my eyes on what my viewing pleasure, because I got into watching some things that, like I said, I would never watch, and now it's like, and then that kind of gets you down another rabbit hole,
Right.
Yeah.
And we needed that. We needed rabbit holes. We needed places to go where we didn't have to think about, some of the really unfortunate sides of COVID. And so it was like, On Milwaukee still had a purpose, and it was to distract. We don't talk hard news. We would post things like where you can get a COVID test, or where, now where you can get a COVID vaccination, or things like that. But we really stay away from a lot of politics. We stay away from a lot of stuff that had to do with
it's always a good read.
It's an escape, right? And it's real information about your city. So it's, it was interesting, and it wasn't all bad. I mean, it was hard at times, and I missed going out and seeing people, but there's also something, especially now that it's starting to, we're coming out of it. There's some parts of it I really liked. Not having to, I do some television for Fox 6 every week. Other than that, I didn't wear makeup. I was the same, I wore sweatpants. It just felt really good
to just be comfortable and be home. To be home. Like all of a sudden you're like, oh, I really love my home.
I did a lot of cleaning. I did a lot of rearranging, freshening up. Couldn't afford a lot, but bought like a new rug here, new curtains there, just to kind of freshen the space up. And it's like, I really love my space. I adopted a second dog during COVID, and so that's been just awesome to have the people and their pets become so close.
That's a whole new thing. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, like talking about pets, and your son probably won't like this, but it's leading me into your pet of a son. And I've never met him, unfortunately. I haven't, but I learn about him from just listening to you. And but he is a huge Rubik's Cube man. Tell me a little bit about this, because he's gone entered contests and stuff, and there's been stories written about him. And what is his fascination? Where did it come from?
I don't really know. People always say, oh, well, does he like math? Yes, he does like math. But literally, I gave him a Rubik's Cube just like anything else. You just never know what someone's going to really take to. But I was like, oh, I have this when I was a little girl. This is kind of fun. And all of a sudden, he knows how to solve it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then it turns into this thing where he brings the cube everywhere with him. It's like, before he goes to bed, I hear him twisting the cube. I hear it fall off of his bed onto the floor, and I'd be like, oh, Levi's asleep.
He's asleep,
And he got really into it. He got that he could solve the cube in under 5 seconds. And it led us all over the country to go to these competitions. And we're supposed to go to the international Rubik's Cube competition, which he was going to be one of the representatives of the United States. We're supposed
Wow.
to, but because of COVID, it was called off, and so there was not one last year. There's not one this year either. So I don't know. Next year he'll be going to college, so I really don't know. But I feel like we got really close.
Yeah.
You know,
it needs to be revisited.
It does.
They need
It
to
does.
because that's too much of a. Like I'm disappointed.
I know.
So I can't even imagine how he feels. You know?
We were so ready to go last summer.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. I mean, he didn't get it from me. That's not how my brain works. But it's just so interesting that for him, it's like it's all about algorithms and memorizing, and then he tells me it's also about intuition and all these things. It's amazing to me. But the thing is that most of us
look at it as a piece of plastic toy that moves.
Right. And people are like, well, I used to take the stickers off mine and put it back on, or that's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Or they're like, well, I can only get two sides. And this is the one thing I do know about Rubik's Cube is that you do not solve it side by side.
Right.
You solve it in layers.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
anyone, myself included, all these years, I was always like, I can only get two sides of the Rubik's Cube.
Right.
Well, I was never going to get any more because that's not how you solve the Rubik's Cube.
That's not how you do it. Yeah. Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
So you learn a lot from your kids. You know, you hopefully learn some things from you, but I've learned a lot from him, and I have another son, and he's a little bit less glitzy in his interests. So, sometimes he doesn't mind though. He's okay. But I do have an older son, and he lives in Bozeman, Montana.
Oh
and
I love Bozeman.
Going to film school there, and
cool.
Yeah, and so he's doing.
So he's like you. Yeah, he's like you. Yeah, I see that in you. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Well, we should talk about your dinner. So that's coming up. What is the date? I'm sorry.
October.
Yeah, that's right. October.
Yes.
October
6th.
6th. October 6th. That's my brother's birthday.
Oh.
So I guess everybody can make a reservation on HAAWK. It's already up, and like I said, I'll send you that link so you can kind of get that information out too. And we will. I guess talk a little bit about like your charity, and then my charity is Courage Milwaukee. So part of the proceeds go to both the charities, and the whole month of October, your dish will be served, and whenever it's served, part of those proceeds will go to the charity.
Nice.
So maybe we'll even do like a special take and bake dinner with it or something like that to help promote it.
Nice.
Or just to get more awareness to it.
Okay.
But so. Yeah, well, I guess let's take this out of the oven.
Yeah.
And let's taste it.
I'm going to take a picture of it.
Yeah. Here we go. I almost feel like I want to put like on the plate a layer of tomato sauce and then plate it on top of it.
Yeah.
Just to give it a little bit more, I don't know, color-wise, I guess, but we'll see.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah. It's hot. That's for sure.
This looks really good.
It looks great on the plate.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
All right, let's have a little taste.
Do it. Taste that sausage right away. Delicious. Good call on the spicy sausage.
Yeah.
Yep, adds a lot. I gotta just get one of these artichokes. That's what I'm really here for the artichokes.
Yeah.
I gotta admit.
I know, I love it. I remember for the cash mob, you ordered artichoke. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So good. Oh,
this is very good.
Really good, Suzanne.
Excuse me. So, well, thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you being part of this series. It means a lot to me. And I think we have so many amazing women in our community, and it's just my idea just to celebrate them, and we can only do that by getting the word out about us, and what better way to do it with food. And then we're also, not only are you doing food and wine and cocktails, but beautiful women, and we're bringing awareness to charities, so we're making some money for people that need it. So I think it's a win-win all the way around.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah,
and
thank you
for having me.
Yeah,
and
you're welcome.
Thanks
Thanks for saying yes right away. I was so happy.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you everybody for joining us. Molly Snyder from On Milwaukee, and her charity is Planned Parenthood, and her dinner is October 6th. Make a reservation on HAAWK. and her dinner of baked polenta with marinated artichokes and sausage will be served the whole month of October. So come see us, and we also have all the other international women throughout the year, so you can, anytime that anybody comes in, you're always dining for a good cause. Thank you. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.